Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and what a fantastic day. I don't know what it is. The birds are chirping. There's sunshine coming through the window over there. It's warming up a little bit. Daylight savings time is about to convert back to my preference, where there's more daylight in the evening. I love it. Maybe it's because next week's my birthday, and I don't even mind. Some years you're like, ugh, just getting older. This year, for some reason, oh yeah, getting older. Still up here talking about toys. And yeah, I share a birthday with Pixel Dan. How crazy is that? If you're gonna post in the comments happy birthday, which I am not fishing for, but if you're gonna do that, go over and hit Dan up too. Or maybe it's the steady stream of toys that have been hitting my front porch over the past few weeks. A lot of plastic, a lot of sunshine. It'll do wonders for you. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. How you doing? But enough of all that. You're here for the toy news. I know what you want, and I'm gonna give it to you. Going back to last week, a little update on LooseCollector's The Crypt Monster Hyde Kickstarter. Let's see where it is right now. 61,000 of 94,000 raised. So this is well on its way to getting funded. You know what that means. Ooh, stretch goals. If the Kickstarter reaches 150,000, there will be a bald, battle-scarred, even angrier head added, along with some grippy hands. And as an update to the figure itself, Dave posted on Facebook that where smooth joints are visible, like at the elbows, the neck, the shoulders, where else? The wrists, the knees, and the ankles, those will have the skin texture added to them. And that's not a stretch goal, that's just, improving the figure itself. Shows he listens to fan feedback, which is an awesome thing. There's still 21 days to go, more stretch goals, so if you're interested in this big chunk of plastic, link is in the description. Speaking of crowdfund campaigns, ooh, Plunderlings, those rascally bastards. The Plunder Long and Plunder Strong Kickstarter will kick off March 15th. And just judging by this graphic, there's going to be a lot of options for both, like the Plunderlings themselves. Swappable heads, pieces, colors. Oh. I had a chance to test drive a test shot of the Plunder Strong recently, and ooh, such a big beefy boy. But still limber, especially in the head and torso, so he can move around despite being just... I can't wait to see what else they have up their sleeve. That is, well, that's week after next, so we'll be talking about this again. If you're looking for a blank base body to sculpt on top of, you want the articulation out of the way, the musculature, the shape, you're just wanting to add clothes or superhero gear, armor, whatever, Planetary Dog Toys has you covered. They're offering Ready Action, Anatomy of an Action Figure Volume 1. There's 2 different articulation schemes available. Well, I say that, it's really just the torso, the shoulder, and the elbow, but you can take any of those points and swap between the 2. If you want a floating torso with a double elbow, you can do that. There's even several face and hand options. From there, you just do whatever you want with it, as long as you don't mess with the articulation and clearances themselves. You can scale up, you can scale down. Basically, it gives you a head start if you're wanting to print or produce your own action figures. There's different licensing options, whether you want to use it one time, lifetime, whatever. Clicky the linky in the description-y. That doesn't work. To kick off the anthropomorphic section of today's weekly, Spero Toys has been rolling out over the past month, over a month, characters from their Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Primal Series 2.5. A lot of these will look familiar, using parts from Series 1 and 2, and some names are coming back around with a new look. I mean, it's Pell. He's the main character. Like I always say, you got your Batmans, you got your Wolverines, you have your He-Mans, you gotta have the main character out there, and in this case, it's Pale. And that may be the reason for the 2.5 designation, the reuse, the redecos, building up for newer looks that'll be in Series 3. This will also speed up the production process for 2.5 because of the reuse parts, because of the existing tooling. So when these go up for pre-order, it should be a quick turnaround. On that front, Spero has said that they will not put up pre-orders until Series 1 and 2 are in collectors' hands. So it's going to get all of that out there. Once the last box goes out, 2.5 goes up for pre-order. Talking to Jason, he hopes that that'll be late summer, so that's right around the corner. Shouldn't be too long. How did I miss the Gargoyles news from last week? Oh, I remember. Because every toy company decided to just dump. Here you go. It's supposed to be Toy Fair, but that ain't happening. We're online. We can just post pictures. But that's okay. That's what next week's are for. Toy Shiz gave us a better look at the gargoyles that were actually debuted on the back of Bronx's packaging. I think there, it was little headshots. Here, bigger. You see more of the body. More like a bigger glance of Lexington, Brooklyn, and Broadway. And while his pre-order went up directly after that reveal. So we get big, pretty promotional pictures. Includes a sword, several sets of hands, and scary alternate head without pupils in the eyes. That's one of my nightmares. No pupils in the eyes. That and big water. Oh, you put a big sea monster underwater without pupils in its eyes? Nah, I'm done. I give up. Either way, Hudson looks like a nice companion piece to Goliath, but I am hearing a lot of comments about how much shelf space those big honking wings take up. I think I'm planning to hang them on the wall by those wings, but still, it's going to take up more of this space than this space. Hopefully we'll see more options like Goliath's caped wings that come with Bronx for the other gargoyles at some point. $40 due out in September. Okay, quick convoluted setup to get to the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles news. NECA is about to start their global collector event through Target, Target.com, and Haulathon.com if you're outside the US. Some of the brands mentioned is Gremlins, Evil Dead, Elvira, and Alf, but let's zero in on TMNT. One of the event's announcements had Kevin Eastman himself saying, oh, it's going to be exciting. Here comes stuff. He's hanging out in his office, but some eagle-eyed collectors started poking around in the background and they saw a couple things. Over on one side is a 4-pack of turtles of some kind, and then on the other side is a Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady 2-pack. Somehow the UPC started floating around on the internet, and John over at Preternia.com on Twitter went to his Target, scanned it, and came up with pictures of the 2-pack. The collecting community is insane, and I love it. I have no attachment to robot versions of either of these characters, but I like a good-looking action figure. At least looking. I probably won't pick this up, but if you're in the market for Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady, that should be coming around during this whole Haulathon thing. That'll be kicking off March 18th, so keep your ear to the action figure news channels. Speaking of turtles and robots, and specifically Bebop, Super 7 solicited their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Wave 7, and it's a bit of a deep dive all around. First, most importantly, because he's the most important turtle, there is a Donatello variant, but not the one we expected. Oh, Super 7, you zigged when we were looking for Zag. I think we all thought we would see Undercover Donnie. He fit the pattern that they established with, what waves, 5 and 6? And we saw the Undercover Raph, which would have been easy reuse to make Undercover Donatello, but nope, we get Punker Don. But I'm not going to complain because it is awesome looking. Metalhead Mikey is far beyond my knowledge when it comes to this line. Apparently this was a later release in the Playmates line. Was it harder to get? Or somewhere into the 90s? It works though, both as a quick easy repaint with some new parts, or a nice update to a vintage figure that a lot of people may have wanted. I'm also not familiar with Robotic Bebop, but what about that timing? 2 Robops from 2 different companies from 2 different sources. What are the chances? The Triceraton just looks fierce, but it doesn't seem that different from the original figure. If you were glancing real quick, you'd think it was the vintage version, but it's not. It has better posture, which means he probably feels better throughout the day. He's not just down with back pain after several hours of walking around. And there's some modern aesthetics. It just looks more formidable. To round out the wave, Gorilla. Super 7 put out a tease the day before showing a coconut and a banana, and everyone's brain pan went directly to Sergeant Bananas. So I understand the disappointment when it turns out to be Gorilla, but it may be out of Super 7's hands. Maybe they went this direction because of something pertaining to Sergeant Bananas. But it's still a huge hunk of battle-ready plastic in the form of a gorilla. Really, with some clothing changes, this just seems like a modernized Sergeant Bananas. Or a good-looking gorilla toy. It's up to you. Because of that size, Gorilla is $75, while the rest are the standard $55. But after you start looking at the accessories and how much stuff is packed in with them, and the fact that he's as wide as he is tall, yeah, I understand the pricing here. I would guess that he uses almost twice the amount of materials as the rest. Scheduled for Q1 2023. Super 7 also gave us a little tease for the next assortment of ThunderCats Ultimates! Oh! Ultimates are loose unless you're a card collector. Well, okay, a full-on reveal. And I've always wanted Boomerang Space Cop. She's a cop in space with a boomerang, which I can only guess is super effective in space. She probably had some kind of tragic accident caused by common household cats, and after having super techno upgrades added to her eyes and brain, she's a policewoman just out there trying to keep all the cats in line, no matter if they walk on 4 or 2 legs, with a boomerang in space. Yeah, 80s. Now before you put fingers to keyboard, I know it's Mandora, but I only know that because people on Twitter were calling her Mandora. You think I'm gonna research? I like my headcanon going by the vibe of just this one picture. Boomerang Space Cop! Like many recent Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse solicitations, we saw new Eternia, He-Man, and Skeletor back at PowerCon, but hey, new pictures are always appreciated. Plus that means pre-orders should open soon, right? Both are body reuse, which is just standard Master of the Universe Masterverse at this point, but there's some new heads, new overlays, new weapons that change things up a bit. He-Man's helmet does a lot to alleviate the rampant pinheadedness, but the other head isn't too shabby either. Well, okay, this one looks off, but the one in the package, oh, that looks pretty sweet. The difference hair placement can make. The one out of the package, the hair is just slightly back, and it looks like he cut his own bangs without a mirror. The one in the package feels He-Man-y. I'm hoping the one we get is closer to that. Then I would take that, put it on the first version, and then use this as Barbarian He-Man, and there's upgrades all around. Maybe that's Mattel's plan, because they kind of do the same thing with Skeletor. There's the helmet head to go along with his new overlay stuff, and then you take the hooded head, swing back around, put it on wave 1, see what that looks like. And I apologize to whoever is doing the photography here, but I mean, it's just kind of the limbs moved into positions. Honestly, He-Man's pose in the package is more dynamic than the loose shots. Now, I get it, these are just promotional images to show the customer what they're going to get, but we notice these things. We notice all these things. Not that it changes my mind about picking these up when I see these, whenever that may be, hopefully soon. But yeah, just throwing that out there. Okay, last week I opened my big mouth talking about how weird it was when there's only a couple of DC Multiverse figures to talk about, and Todd just turned around, unzipped, slapped it on the table. Is this good enough for you? There's a lot to go through, but we're going to start with the gold label version of the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, where it's an unmasked head on top of one of the best Batman costumes ever created. Yeah, I said it again. Get angry. Downside, it's only available in a bundle along with Earth 22 Infected Batman, Duke Thomas, and Joker Dragon over on McFarlane's own online store. That's not a bad deal if you're interested in all the characters here, because it's $70. That's the base price of the other 3, and you get Zur-En-Arrh for free. Those other 3 were also new reveals for this week. I think the Infected Batman of Earth 22 is actually Batman Who Laughs before he became Batman Who Laughs. That's what I'm seeing on the internets. I like this color scheme though, which I would after, you know, my comments about Zur-En-Arrh being the best Batman costume ever created. I don't know anything about Duke Thomas Batman, but he seems to take that metal scheme that we've been seeing over the past few years and just cranking it to 11. Big, thick figure. Damn it, why is this tempting? But I simply can't get over the Joker Dragon. What is this thing? Why, don't even tell me. I don't want to know. Because I like it as is. This just brings all kinds of things to the brain. I just want to have fun scenarios play out as I'm flying this thing around the room. I mean, look at this. It is actually a vehicle. You can have Batman riding a Joker-themed dragon. It's like a fever dream brought to plastic life. I don't even mind that it has a slight side-eye. It's okay in this case. You be crazy, Joker Dragon. None of that side-eye nonsense on Ghostmaker, though. It's just another one of those interesting designs in toy form. But I think I'm more curious about how well the articulation is going to work. Especially in those big, baggiest of baggy pants. Look at the size of that knee joint. For another exclusive, Entertainment Earth gets their own variant Batman Beyond, and I swear that company loves their glow-in-the-dark action figures. And I can't blame them. I mean, this looks awesome, even with no context. I don't know what this is. I know Batman Beyond, but I don't know what this is. The red placed below the mouth keeps making me think he's sticking out his tongue as I'm scrolling through pictures, though, and that's kind of... Finally, my 2 favorite reveals. Well, besides the Joker Dragon. Can you tell which way I'm leaning in this line? It's towards the monsters. Killer Croc was pulled directly out of the Arkham Asylum games, which makes sense because I think Todd even mentioned that the company sent them the renders, so they just had to turn it into a toy. Burly, brawny, perfect if you think of Killer Croc as round and big. Because when he's throwing a gig, he just can't help himself. He's acting like an animal. Now here's his scandal. Maybe not as big as I'm imagining, because inside the standard Megafig box, there does seem to be some air. But that's not a problem for Man-Bat. Holy shit. This is so inside McFarlane's wheelhouse that it hurts. This is what we've been expecting for the past couple of years. Things like this. And while we have been getting them at times, this is what I've been looking forward to. The box says Rebirth, but I think I can use this with any iteration of DC figures that I have on the shelf. Don't matter if they're 7-inch, 6-inch, 3 3/4, whatever. Hey, it's a big, mutated bad person. They're my toys, and I can do whatever I want with them. Lots of pre-orders. Everything's in the description. It wasn't all DC though. McFarlane also had some reveals for other properties. For Warhammer 40K, there is the Chaos Space Marine and Dark Angels Assault Intercessor Sergeant. I know, heretic. That's a lot of words. Just even knowing nothing about the property, only seeing other toys of this, I like how this changes things up. It doesn't look just like the other Space Marines we've gotten from McFarlane or, well, other company. Is it Bandai? Well, it's standing right there. I do dabble in My Hero Academia though, so seeing Hawks and Overhaul is a nice break in the radio silence we've seen lately. Can you see radio silence? This is actually the second Hawks we've seen in the past month or so, but this one will be much more accessible, much more affordable. Maybe not as dynamic as the amazing Yamaguchi, but if you are just building out your My Hero display, this would work perfectly fine. But it's Overhaul that I like. Those villains that I feel like other companies aren't going to give us anytime soon, I can get this. There's Overhaul. Done. Hawks is awfully suspicious of Overhaul, though. Look at him giving him the side eye. No release dates, just something to look forward to in the future. Boss Fight Studio continued their Boss Fest throughout the week, where they gave reveals for their toy lines and properties, and they showed off a 6-inch version of their Vitruvian hacks called Epic Hacks. Epic Hacks. Look at these. Be still my heart. To kick things off, there are 4 flavors of skeleton. There's Barbarian, Gladiator, Grim Spectre, and Pirate. Themed skeletons just work so well, and it was outright set that Wave 2 would have a cowboy skeleton. Ooh, beating even fast. And even if 4-inch scale is your home turf, you can use these as giant skeletons in your Vitruvian Hacks display. It works all the way around. It's a beautiful thing. Everyone wins. More toys for more people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know I'll be watching out for more details here. Boss Fight didn't stop there. They also announced Strawberry Shortcake. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Sure, I remember Strawberry Shortcake from back in the day, and I even recognize the name Huckleberry Pie, but who knew I would be tempted by articulated action figures in 2022? Now, come on, you know that any respectable shrine to the 80s must contain Strawberry Shortcake. But hell, even if you're not into the 80s stuff, there's a new animated series coming to Netflix in just a few months. How's that for timing? These will stand about 6 inches tall with the hats. They will be scented. They are articulated up to a certain point, given the designs themselves, and they come with quite a few accessories. Like other Boss Fight reveals this week, no details yet, but that should be along shortly. And let's cherry top this weekly with the Mezco 1/12 Collective G.I.Joe Snake Eyes. When this was revealed a couple of weeks ago at Toys Fair, I made the comment of how I was ninja snake-eyed out. And I still kind of feel that way, but the solicitations nearly got me. It is packing a lot of heat for a Mezco priced at $112. Loads of hands, 2 swords with sheaths, 2 butterfly swords, submachine gun, pistol, 6 grenades, 6 shuriken, 6 throwing knives, another knife, awesome throwing star and grenade effect hands, a triple staff, and timber? Now you know me, I'm not one to read the text first. I'm just flipping through the pretty pictures, and it wasn't until the very last image that I saw timber. And even then it's just a silhouette. But there, timber? That's almost a whole other figure along with Snake Eyes for $112. It looks like he'll have an angry dog alternate head, but reading through the description, which I eventually did do because, you know, I gotta know what else is in there. The description actually says 3 heads, so I don't know what'll happen there. It's a shame that Snake Eyes didn't get an alternate head though, especially a version 3 head with the little silver goggles, because the weapons that were featured on that figure back in the day are included here. The butterfly swords, the triple staff, thing. That just feeds the theory that Mezco can't do anything until Hasbro does it in their classified line, though. I mean, Hasbro did all the Destros, Mezco showed their Destro. Hasbro did all the Roadblocks, Mezco showed their roadblock. Hasbro releases a classic Storm Shadow. Mezco teases a classic Storm Shadow. Mezco teases a classic Firefly. Classified hasn't done a classic Firefly. Mezco skips classic Firefly for Snake Eyes. Or they thought, hey, we're doing a G.I.Joe line, we better get a Snake Eyes out there, and then we'll do other versions later, then we'll swing back around to Firefly. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors at toy companies. I can only say what I see. Like I said, $112 scheduled for early 2023. And that's it for this week. Oh, my arm's really bright. If I missed anything, we'll swing back around next week. That's what we always do. Unless that famous Robo luck kicks in, as good as I'm feeling today, I may be hit by a bus tomorrow. If that's the case, no weekly next week. I apologize. Man, I got dark. If you wanted to see any of these pictures up close without me all, oh, the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh is the best Batman costume ever designed. I'll be posting all of that along with links to pre-orders, more information on the Foosh front page Saturday at noon. I didn't know what to do with my hand there for a second. And look what I got this week. Whoo, Walmart came through. And it seems to be happening to a lot of people, that's fantastic. Especially since for a while now, whenever you make a pre-order on Walmart.com, you get a little tingle, a thought in the back of your head of, will this even happen? And that's on top of the Walgreens Marvel Legends binary going up for order on their site today, after Quasar was available a couple of times in the past few weeks. The funny thing, though, is that from what I'm seeing online and my own personal thoughts, our minds are just blown that things worked like they're supposed to. Oh, I ordered this item, and I actually got it. It's a miracle. Again, shipping and availability, yeah, up in the air for the past, everything's crazy, I know, but it's nice for a couple of things to happen without a hitch. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come. As I cross my fingers, hoping for other Walmart pre-orders to actually ship. But if you enjoyed this Foosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Foosh. This is where I usually talk about stuff that doesn't really fit into the rest of the video. But I don't know what to talk about. I thought I had something earlier, but that's completely gone. Whew. That's all I got. Bye-bye. See you later.